Hey everyone, welcome to another Coffee Talk. My name is Ryan and I'm here with my buddy Alex, and today we're going to be talking about different brands of equipment. So some mainstream equipment brands and also some maybe brands that you may have never heard about with coffee and coffee making. So Alex has some brands that he's owned that he can talk about, and also we're going to talk about some new brands or some more specialized brands that a lot of coffee enthusiasts have been using and it may not be as well known. So coffee brands, Alex. What's your experience with them, and how many brands have you owned? What
Hey
what do you
Ryan,
like?
yeah, um, yeah. I think in terms of coffee brands, I'll say I'll start from like when I started off with my coffee machines. I'll start with the Gaggia because I think Gaggia is like so. So to start off, Gaggia is a brand that has been around for quite a number of years. So it started off with the guy called Gaggia. So I forgot what is his first name. Yeah, so basically he started making coffee machines, and yeah, and then I think it started in the early 1900s or something. So yeah, so then it just went on, and then he made machines for the commercial market, and then so long story short, and then coming up to today, Gaggia still makes machines for the commercial market as well as the domestic. So for the domestic, the Gaggia Classic, and then they also have a few other product lines. So let's say the Gaggia Baby and the Gaggia Carezza. So all these are lined up for the domestic market, and yeah, um, and then after the Gaggia, then now I have the Londinium one. Um, so so the Londinium one is actually made by another manufacturer, which is based in the UK. So they are made by a company called Fricino. So Fricino is so Fricino is a brand that is based in UK. So they're based in a place called Birmingham, which is a place known for manufacturing. Um, so yeah, so Fricino, they've been making machines, and it started off with a guy who went to Italy and bought a machine there, and he brought it back to UK, sort of figured out how machines were made, and he started making machines himself. And the funny thing is that he started sending machines to the Italians. So that's how Fricino sort of started around, and they have machines dedicated for the commercial market as well as for the domestic. Yeah, so basically, in terms of brands, I think the main thing is whether it comes down to I guess it comes down to reliability and their reputation. And I think reputation is one of the important things, because let's say for Gaggia, if Gaggia didn't have a good reputation, then they wouldn't have lasted for so long.
Yeah, for sure. And I think you kind of said it right, because the reputation and also how long a machine has been around, it really tells you something about the quality and how consistent the manufacturing can be. Um, Although Gaja, of course, has been now acquired by another company, but their, I guess, legacy, so to speak, has already been established. Like, the Gaja Classic has been around for, I don't even know how many years, like 20 years maybe? I don't know, but um, you've owned one, I own one now, and it's one of those machines that everyone still feels that, oh, it's like a staple of entry level home espresso brewing, and it's just good. It's just like Rancilio Silvia is another example of that, where it's a really good entry level machine that's affordable and it's been around for ages and it's still good quality. So yeah, I totally agree. When it comes to brands, the reputation and the longevity of a model of machine really tells you a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, I do agree with that, and also coming down onto grinders as well. And I think it's not only for the coffee machines, but I think it also works perfectly well with the grinders. So, for example, like we see the Matzo grinders. So they've been along for quite a while, and from what I hear, and even I've got and I own a Matzo grinder myself. That they have the reputation where the grinders are built like tanks. So basically, it's hard to break one unless if you really wanted to break one. So it just shows that the reliability is there, and the company is highly reputable. So I think so it's not only coffee machines but grinders as well, and so yeah, and basically what can they offer? I guess it just comes down to what can each product of the brand offer.
Yeah, yeah. For me, like it's about brands, and for me, I'm kind of like a kid in a candy store still, because I haven't owned as many different types of equipment as you compared to you. So I obviously don't have that experience with different brands, but for me, when I'm looking at different grinders, different espresso machines, different portafilter basket, different milk jugs, like even simple things like a milk jug, like I'll look at like the quality, and I'll look at the build quality, and also look at of course the reputation, and also I'll even look at like how it's going to be practical for my use before I step into ownership of said brand, right? So it's totally it's totally something that we can talk about for ages, but it's definitely important to really understand the different brands, like what's good and what's not, because making coffee, now that I have an espresso machine, it's you don't really think about this when you don't you haven't made espresso, you're not really into making coffee, but making espresso is it's how can I sum it up? It's like a violent process of water being pushed through, pressurized through like a compact basket of coffee, but it's like you're trying to make a violent process elegant, because you want a nice controlled flow of espresso that comes out and whatnot. So my point is that making espresso is it requires a lot of strain and a lot of moving parts from a piece of equipment like your espresso machine. So and it's not like it's a gentle like push of water or anything like that, right? So when it comes to choosing a right machine, or choosing going with the right brand, definitely like quality and sustainability, like longevity of these machines are like probably like at the highest priority of what I look at.
Yeah, I do agree with you, because when I got my Londinium one of the reasons why I went for that machine was not only for the great, not only like because what the L1 could offer, but also in terms of the build quality, the company that built it, and also basically like, so just in general, just like what the L1 was able to offer. So basically so just to sum it up, like, so this is coming from my own view. Like, it makes exceptional espresso because it handles the temperature well. It is able, like the lever is a commercial lever. So the lever group is a commercialized group, and it can be found on other brands of machines. So that in itself has basically the group is well established. So you could find it on the Bosco, you could find it on the Quickmill machines, on the Keys van der Western, spring lever machines, and so it's widely available. It is a proven group. So with that so that coupled with a manufacturer which has proven itself, which is highly reputable, so that's why I went for the L1. And now that I've had the L1 for, I don't know, a year and a half, it 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 has served me very well. Um, so yeah, so I think when it comes to brands, I think it's just comes down to how reputable, what can the brand offer, is the customer service good, and so on and so forth, and what do other people think of it. So yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Like I think like you want to buy a brand or own a piece of equipment from a brand that has like excellent reputation as well, because when it comes to resale, like I mean, like these machines like will probably last longer than what your ownership or your span of attention, so to speak, before you maybe want to upgrade or get something better, or try a different method, like whatever it is, like the reason why you want to change machines. Like, so if you have a brand that has a really good reputation, like the resale value, like there's a very big used market for machines that have great reputations. Like just as an example, like Alex, me and you, like we always talk about, off the show, like we always talk about, oh hey, I've seen this, I've seen that, like what's good, what's bad. And you can see, like when I was actively looking for an espresso machine that on the used market, like I was looking at like Rancho Los Silvias and also Gaggia Classics, right? It's probably like the two staples of entry level home espresso making, and it's like these things sell fast, like because they have a really good reputation. Like I would find an ad online and for a Gaggia Classic, I would call them, reasonable price, fair prices, and they would be picked up like in the same day or the next day. It was a little bit of a challenge for me to find a machine that was in the condition I wanted and the price that I wanted to pay, and have it available. So having a reputable brand also offers you a great resale value, and just because they're so well known, people still want them. Like my machine is 16 years old now, and people still are using the machine, and it's working fairly well. And these things last forever if you buy a reputable established brands.
Yeah, and I think also to give you another example is you see so what I mentioned earlier about the matzo grinders.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, what I've found is that matzo grinders hold their value very well. So let's say, like, even though if you bought it first hand, so let's say if for a super jolly, you could get it for, I don't know, £500-600 in UK. And obviously first hand, like when you sell it second hand, it will probably depreciate, but its second hand value would still hold. So I got mine for about 220 something pounds. And yeah, and I would expect it to sell it for what I had, because basically they hold the value really well, and basically there's no, like, I can't see it. Why would it deprecate? So unless if I caused damage to it, then obviously then the value would go down. But I've had this grinder and it's still working well. It's still working as good as when I first got it. So as long as it is in a good condition, then with a brand name, then they tend to hold their value.
Yeah.
So yeah, so just what I've seen around, like for matzo grinders, they hold their value relatively well.
Yeah, yeah, that's great. And you also will get the support of the brand and the extra parts that you may need for maintenance and these things. Like they'll be there, right? It's not a company where you the newest and greatest, and it's like a company that hasn't been around for a while, and you get their machine or their grinder, and there's no support in that what's the word, like passion behind the company, that they're really serious about making machines or equipment that will help enthusiasts of coffee makers, improve their coffee making, right? So for sure, like I think what we can learn here today is, look at a company, and if you're looking at equipment, look for brands that like manufacturers that have a really, really good reputation, not only for resale value, but of course for quality, longevity, and making better coffee.
Yeah, that is very true, and also consider what other people have said about the company.
Yeah.
So
For sure.
so,
Do your research. Like you will see like the brands that come up and people mention over and over and over again. There are lots of them, so it's not like there's only a few well-known brands. Yeah, of course there are like there's a list of brands that most people have heard of, but that there are quite a few brands that are reputable and of course very available as well.
and also I think it's good, like from what I could see, that there's a healthy competition going on within the brands. So it's not where one brand is getting cocky or something. But from what I could see in the market, this is just from me looking at things, and it seems that there is a good, healthy competition out there. So the market seems quite even. But that is just me. But that's just me. Yeah. So that's what I've observed. So
great. Well, thanks for sharing, Alex, today about different brands. I will update you guys with any sort of new equipment that comes along, and also talk about the brands and why I chose certain pieces of equipment. Anything else, Alex?
I think that's pretty much all. So good talking to you, Ryan.
Great, thanks.